It's 2:47 a.m. again. You're staring at the ceiling, wondering why sleep has become a stranger. If you're over 60 and struggling with restless nights, you're not alone. Across Europe and America, millions of seniors quietly wrestle with insomnia, tossing and turning while the world sleeps. But what if the solution isn't in a pill bottle, but in simple daily habits grounded in science and real-life stories of the elderly? In this video, we'll explore 8 practical, proven tips that help seniors enjoy deeper, more restful sleep. Margaret is 72. She lives alone in a cozy little cottage tucked in the quiet suburbs of Oregon. Her garden is her pride. Her roses still bloom like they did in her 50s. But for all her strength and grace, she faces a nightly battle most people don't talk about. Sleep. It's not that I don't want to sleep, she says, holding a cup of cold chamomile in her hands. It's that my body seems to have forgotten how. Margaret wakes up at 1:47 a.m. most nights. Then again at 3:12 and 4:26, she counts the seconds between shadows on her ceiling. By morning, she's exhausted, like she ran a marathon in her mind. And the truth is, she's not alone. In both Europe and North America, sleep disturbances are quietly becoming one of the most common health complaints among people over 60. But it's not aging itself that ruins rest. It's how our lives shift around it. We stop working, stop waking up at the same time, stop seeing the sun each morning, and slowly, our internal rhythms begin to drift out of sync. Margaret's journey back to restful nights began with something deceptively simple. An evening routine. She turned off the TV at 9 p.m., played a soft jazz record, lit a lavender candle, and read a paper book under warm light. At first, I thought it was silly, she laughed. But after 3 weeks, something changed. I wasn't lying in bed waiting for sleep anymore. After 60, melatonin production slows and becomes sensitive to our environment. Screens, especially the blue light from phones and TVs, delay that process. But dim lighting, quiet sounds, and consistency tell the body, it's time. But bedtime rituals are just part of the story. For Peter, a 76-year-old retired lawyer in Toronto, it was his dinner habits that were keeping him up. I used to enjoy steak dinners late at night, he said, swirling an imaginary glass of red wine. It felt comforting. But over time, he started waking up drenched in sweat, with his heart racing and his stomach burning. After a rough hospital visit for acid reflux, his doctor gave him a challenge. No heavy meals or alcohol after 6:30 p.m. Peter scoffed at first. What Peter experienced is something few seniors are warned about. As we age, our digestion slows. Late meals keep the stomach working while the brain tries to rest. Alcohol, too, can trick us into falling asleep quickly. But it disrupts deep sleep, the kind we need to restore our memory, immune system, and emotional health. Still, changing dinner isn't enough if your days begin in darkness. What Margaret and Peter didn't know, and what many seniors don't, is that real restful sleep starts when you wake up, specifically when you wake up to sunlight. Dolores, who turned 80 last winter in a foggy town in Wales, learned this the hard way. A retired literature teacher, she had settled into a life indoors. She read, knitted, and sipped tea, but she hadn't truly seen the sun in weeks. Her doctor asked her a strange question. When was the last time you went outside before 10 a.m.? Dolores couldn't answer. He prescribed her something unexpected. Morning walks. Just 10 minutes, he said. Reluctantly, she obeyed. She bundled up in her coat and wandered through her garden. At first, it was just about moving her legs, but soon she started to feel tired early. And that's no coincidence. Sunlight, especially morning light, tells your brain when to release melatonin and when to hold off. For seniors who spend too much time indoors, the body loses this sense of time, leading to restlessness at night and fatigue during the day. Just 15 minutes in the morning, watering plants, walking the dog, or sitting on a bench can restore that balance. But even light needs a partner. Movement without it, the body doesn't earn its rest. Louis, a 67-year-old retired truck driver from Colorado, found himself growing stiff and sluggish after leaving work. I'd sit all day, watch TV, nap too much, and then I couldn't sleep at night. His daughter encouraged him to join a local senior aerobics class. I hadn't been in a pool since the 70s, said. He laughed. But the result? He began sleeping through the night. No more waking at 2 a.m., staring at the clock. I move more now than I did in my 50s, he said proudly. And he's not alone. Studies show that regular moderate movement, especially in the morning or early afternoon, helps regulate the body's internal clock, reduces anxiety, and deepens nighttime sleep. There's a catch though. Exercise too late and you might stay wired well into the night. After 7 p.m. our bodies prefer to cool down and quiet. That's why it's best to stretch, walk, or swim earlier. When you look at the bigger picture, sleep after 60 isn't a mystery. It's a reflection of how we eat, how we move, how we live. And sometimes it's about returning to simple truths we've forgotten. That the sun still matters, that rhythm is sacred, and that stillness must be earned. Each of these seniors, Margaret, Peter, Dolores, and Louis, found their way back to sleep, not through pills but through patience, through routines that honored their changing bodies, through wisdom that came from living, listening, and adjusting. That is the heart of elderly reflections. Learning to sleep again, not like a child, but like someone who's finally made peace with their days. It wasn't until Richard, a 75-year-old widower from upstate New York, began waking at 3 a.m. every morning, that he realized something deeper was off. Not just with his sleep, but with his thoughts. I didn't feel tired. I felt anxious, restless. My body wanted rest, but my mind wouldn't stop. For years, Richard had gone to bed with his phone, scrolling through headlines, checking the weather, or texting friends across time zones. It felt like connection. It felt like routine. But it was stealing something vital: mental stillness. What Richard and many seniors like him didn't know was that mental stimulation in the evening can be just as damaging to sleep as caffeine or noise. The brain, like the body, needs time to transition. Reading the news, checking emails, or watching intense dramas keeps the mind alert, often long after the lights go out. Sleep becomes shallow, interrupted by dreams that feel more like reruns of the day. So Richard made a simple change. No screens after 8:30 p.m. He replaced them with low-light journaling and classical music. I write whatever's on my mind, sometimes nonsense, sometimes poems, but it gets it out, he said. And for the first time in months, he began sleeping through the night. It wasn't about shutting the world out. It was about letting his own thoughts settle. Another often overlooked factor that disrupts sleep after 60 is chronic dehydration. The older we get, the less our bodies signal thirst. Many seniors unintentionally run dry by evening, leading to headaches, leg cramps, and frequent nighttime awakenings. Eleanor, 79, from Glasgow, shared how she'd wake up 2 or 3 times a night with painful spasms in her calves. I thought it was just old age, she said. Her doctor, however, pointed to something simpler: water. Not just more of it, but earlier in the day. Eleanor began drinking a full glass of water with breakfast, again at lunch, and sipping herbal tea in the afternoon. She avoided drinking too much late at night to prevent bathroom trips. Within a week, the cramps eased. Within a month, her nights were quieter. I had no idea hydration had anything to do with sleep, she admitted. But the science is clear. Our cells need water to regulate body temperature and blood flow. Without it, sleep becomes fragmented. Then there's the matter of temperature and bedding, something so many overlook because it seems trivial. But for seniors, the thermoregulation, our body's ability to manage temperature, declines with age. Too much warmth can wake you up in sweats. Too little, and you wake up shivering. The environment where we sleep matters deeply. Arthur, 82, from Copenhagen, always loved thick blankets and warm pajamas. My mother used to say, "You sleep best when you're bundled like bread dough," he joked. But that no longer worked. Nights were hot, his sleep broken. A sleep therapist recommended something radical. Ditch the heavy blanket, sleep with a lighter duvet, and lower the thermostat to 66 DGF. He also switched to breathable cotton pajamas. The result? It was the best sleep I'd had in 10 years. I still miss my wool socks, but I don't miss waking up at 2 a.m. sweating. This aligns with the science. Cooler environments support melatonin production and help the body enter deep sleep faster. Even something as simple as placing a fan near the bed or sleeping with the window cracked open can make a world of difference. And finally, there is a habit both gentle and profound, creating a sense of closure to the day, not just physically but emotionally. So many seniors lie awake at night with unresolved thoughts, regrets, worries, or just the nagging sense that something was left undone. For Maria, a retired nurse living in Chicago, this was a familiar ache. My body was ready for bed, she said, but my spirit wasn't. Her solution came not from a sleep clinic, but from an old notebook. I started writing one sentence every night. What did I love today? It changed everything. Instead of replaying anxieties, she ended each day with gratitude. It could be small, a neighbor's smile, the warmth of soup, or just that I made it through another day. That nightly ritual quieted the noise inside. Sleep followed. This isn't wishful thinking. It's neuroscience. Gratitude lowers cortisol, calms the nervous system, and fosters a sense of emotional safety. And for many seniors, that's the final missing piece. Not medication, not noise machines, but feeling at peace with the day behind them. Together, these habits, mental unwinding, staying hydrated, optimizing sleep temperature, and ending the day with emotional closure, form a kind of wisdom only the elderly seem to fully understand. That rest is not just a physical need, it is a reflection of how gently we've treated ourselves that day. As the stories of Richard, Eleanor, Arthur, and Maria show, sleep after 60 is not lost. It is simply waiting for us to remember how to return to it. Through care, rhythm, and the small choices that whisper, "You are safe to rest now." There's a quiet revolution happening in the lives of many people over 60. It's not loud or dramatic. It doesn't come with sirens or headlines. It happens behind closed bedroom doors, often in the softest hours of night, when the body finally surrenders to stillness. It's the moment seniors reclaim something they thought they had lost forever. A full night of peaceful, undisturbed sleep. To someone younger, that might sound small. But to those who have lived through the fatigue, the frustration, the long dark stretches of 2 a.m. loneliness, it feels like nothing short of a miracle. Margaret, whose journey began with just a cup of tea and a jazz record, now sleeps 7 hours most nights. "There are mornings I wake up and the first thing I feel isn't pain or stiffness. It's clarity," she says. "And I can't tell you how precious that feels. It's like I get to start the day with all of me." That clarity has changed her in more ways than sleep. She started painting again, since her 40s. She even submitted 2 pieces to her local community gallery. "I used to think I was too old to do anything new. Now I think maybe I was just too tired." Luis, the former truck driver in Colorado, said something similar. After months of movement and better sleep, he said his world had gone from gray to color. "I don't just rest at night, I actually live during the day now," he said. "Before I felt like I was coasting. Now I feel like I'm driving again." He's not alone in that. Research shows that sleep doesn't just help the brain. Poor sleep increases the risk of memory loss, depression, even early dementia. But when sleep improves, so does everything else. Attention, mood, motivation, even the will to engage socially. Doors, the retired teacher in Wales, was drifting through her days until she began morning walks. "My daughter said I sounded like a ghost on the phone," she recalled. "Not sad, just fading." Now she calls her daughter first, shares what she saw, the squirrels, the neighbor's baby, the dew on the leaves. "It's not big news," she says, "but it's life." That's what sleep gives back. Not just rest, but the ability to notice again, the way sunlight looks on the floor, the sound of boiling water, the chance to be fully present in a day that might otherwise be missed. And when seniors begin sleeping well, they begin forgiving themselves. Arthur in Copenhagen used to berate himself for napping, for lying awake, for slowing down. "I'd lie in bed beating myself up," he said. "But one day something shifted. Now I treat myself the way I treated my children when they were little. Gently, kindly, I rest when I need to. And in that I've found peace I didn't even know I was looking for." Arthur, like so many others, discovered that rest wasn't about weakness. It was about respect, for the body, for the years lived, for the quiet wisdom that comes with age. In Chicago, Maria's nightly gratitude ritual has grown into something shared with her granddaughter. Each evening, they sit together and say one thing they're thankful for. A flower, a laugh, a walk. "It reminds me," Maria says, "that even if I didn't do anything important today, I still lived. I still mattered." She's passing on something rare, a worldview that says even the smallest day has value. And that rest isn't something you earn, it's something you honor. And perhaps most profound of all, sleep has given these seniors back a sense of hope. Richard, the widower from New York, told us, "When I wasn't sleeping, every day felt like survival. Now I'm making plans again. I want to visit my sister. I want to join a choir. I want to grow tomatoes. I don't know if I'll do all of it, but the fact that I want to, that's something, that's everything." Sleep then becomes a seed. It doesn't solve everything, but it allows everything else to begin. It becomes the ground from which new desires grow. That's what elderly wisdom teaches us, not just what matters, but how to return to it. Not just how to survive aging, but how to enjoy it. We asked each of them, "What would you say to the version of yourself who couldn't sleep?" The answers were soft but powerful. "I wish you'd been gentler with yourself. I wish you'd known it would pass. I'm proud of you for not giving up." That conversation between a weary past and a well-rested present is a quiet triumph in itself. So to you watching this, maybe with a warm drink, maybe at 2 a.m., know this: your nights can get better. Your days can get lighter. You are not beyond peace. You are not too late. You are simply on your way home to it. Sleep is not lost, it is waiting for your return. Not when you fight it, but when you welcome it with rhythm, light, warmth, movement, softness, and patience. And in the words of Maria's granddaughter, whispered just before bed, "Thank you today, I'm ready to rest now." If any part of this story spoke to you, if Margaret's quiet jazz, or Richard's late night thoughts, or Maria's evening gratitude felt familiar, it's because sleep after 60 isn't just a medical issue. It's a shared experience, one of the deepest reflections of how we've lived and how we still long to live well. So if you're on this journey too, seeking rest, peace, or just one night of uninterrupted sleep, you are not alone. Let their stories be your encouragement, their lessons your starting point. Small steps matter, and even if last night was hard, tonight is still a new chance. If this video helped you in any way, we invite you to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you never miss a story like this again. Your support helps us bring more elderly wisdom, senior health guidance, and real-life inspiration to those who need it most. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching from, and what has helped you sleep better after 60? Let's keep this conversation going in the comments, because together, we rest better.